It is my absolute pleasure to introduce our president for this year for DSC, Miss Amy Callender McBee.
Good afternoon. It is my great pleasure to welcome each of you to the DSC Ladies Luncheon as well as our 40th anniversary convention celebration. Our Ladies Luncheon is always a highly anticipated event, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to address this very special gathering and growing segment of the DSC family. When I began to prepare my address to you, I found myself reflecting on my own journey as a hunter. My story may be different from yours, but I'm sure we share similar passions that have directed our different paths to this shared moment. My love for the land and the wildlife that lives on it was an inheritance handed down to me from the 6 generations of family ranchers that came before me. Our ranch near the East Texas town of Madisonville dates back to 1835 and has been under continuous agriculture production in my family since it was homesteaded. Growing up on a cattle ranch gave me unlimited access to fresh air and hard work, but it also provided me with unique access to nature, wildlife, and an early understanding for the need of proper stewardship of both, even though the word conservation had yet to enter my vocabulary. Because I was the firstborn, followed later by a younger brother, my dad decided to pass down his love of hunting to his daughter. It was already in my conscience that hunting meant more to my family than just sport. It was truly the way we put much of the food on our table. Later in life, I decided that my dad was quite possibly the original feminist because he dispensed the opportunity to not only hunt and fish, but to haul hay, mow pastures, fix fences, and round up cattle equally between my brother and I. My earliest memories of the role hunting played in my family are of my dad and uncle heading out to hunt deer. When they were successful, they would return home, quarter the deer, and then the whole family would get involved. My mom and aunt would turn our kitchen into a processing center as venison was cut and wrapped in freezer paper. Our Thanksgiving turkey often depended on the success of my dad's box call and his 12-gauge, not a trip to the Madisonville grocery store. My own shooting career, like most kids, started with a BB gun, and eventually led me to the big day when I was entrusted with my dad's .22 and then a youth model 20-gauge shotgun. I knew every inch of our property, including where the rabbits and squirrels hid and where the occasional doves and ducks flew. Eventually, some of my solo hunts produced success, and I can still remember the thrill of returning home with game to show my family that their little girl, all by herself, could bring home dinner. I remember fondly how my mother would always interrupt the normal dinner conversation to announce with due seriousness, "We should all thank Amy for providing tonight's dinner." I took great pride in knowing that something I was learning to love, and I mean hunting, could also benefit my family. I found value in contributing to our family's lifestyle. When I was 11 or so, the harvest of a mature white-tailed doe became not only a treasured memory in my hunting career, but my introduction to actual big game hunting. Between that time in college, my love for hunting and the time it allowed me to spend in the great outdoors continued to grow. As I grew from childhood into a teenager in dating, my dates, and certainly any serious boyfriends, quickly understood that I had very little interest in being left out of their own hunting adventures. Traditional dates like dinner and the movies were looked forward to, of course, but my boyfriends often found themselves with a female partner in deer blinds or planting food plots and maybe even varmint hunting. In college, a family friend went on a safari to Africa. He returned with exciting stories as well as an album full of photos of trophies taken in the country he'd hunted in. And believe it or not, that hunt, one that I didn't even go on, became the driving force behind my eventual international hunting and travel career. I read everything, and I mean everything, books, magazines, newsletters, I could about safari, particularly in Africa. And most importantly, I decided to attend an event called the DSC Convention. And ladies, as one fish said to the other, I was hooked. My first taste of Africa was shared with a boyfriend in the Niassa region of Mozambique. Far, far from many of the luxury camps I had seen advertised in magazines and at DSC, I found myself sleeping in a small tent in a remote flight camp, 7 hours drive from the main camp, for 5 days, trying to outwit, of all things, a big crocodile and a leopard. It was my first experience with true dangerous game, and the die was cast. I was under the spell of the dark continent, and like many of you who have traveled to Africa, I shed tears when it was time to leave. It's an emotion I still fall prey to every time, even after 13 safaris. It was so hard, so remote, so harsh, but it was also so rewarding. Much of my hunting career has been non-traditional in the fact that I often hunt and travel by myself. I began that tradition right here in Texas by booking a hunt at the DSC show for a free-range aoudad sheep in West Texas. Besides taking a big ram, I found that I enjoyed the experience and the feeling of accomplishment I gained by depending on my own research, preparation, and effort. That long drive to the Davis Mountains and back gave me plenty of time to calm my nerves and reflect on the adventure. My next solo efforts were for a brown bear in Alaska and then a chamois in Europe. Without a doubt, a solo hunt into the intimidating mountains of Asia for Altai argali and ibex is still my hunting version of reaching the summit of Mount Everest. Thank you. I clearly remember, though, clinging to the side of a mountain above a very steep vertical drop and certain death, and promising God that if he got me off that mountain, I would never come back. Thankfully, God has a sense of humor, and he got me off that cliff. And soon after, I took an ibex on another mountain in Spain. All of this prepared me for numerous solo excursions to Africa. Of course, I also like to share many of my hunts with people that I love and enjoy, and those have happened many times too. I have always enjoyed the thrill of hunting dangerous game because I know the challenge is combined with a very real possibility of personal danger. President John F. Kennedy delivered a famous quote when asked about the dangers of sending a manned spacecraft to the moon that describes my feelings about hunting dangerous game in dangerous places. He said, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard." For me, that is part of why I have chosen to hunt the way I do, because it is hard. All in all, I have been very blessed to leave boot tracks on 4 continents. Not bad for a rancher's daughter from East Texas. And hopefully, I have a lot more adventure left in me, and hopefully some of that with my new husband. It has been one of the great honors of my life to serve as president of Dallas Safari Club and to lead this great organization in the fulfillment of our mission to ensure the conservation of wildlife through public engagement, education, and advocacy for well-regulated hunting and sustainable use. Over the past 40 years, DSC has grown from a regional club into a respected international hunting and conservation organization. One important part of that growth has been the number of women who have not only joined the ranks of American hunters, but as members of DSC. Women just like all of you gathered here. Female consumers are often an untapped demographic in the outdoor and hunting industry, but that is changing. Today, women make up nearly 20% of all hunters in the United States, and that number is steadily increasing. In fact, women account for the biggest growth in hunting licenses across the U.S. We have lady hunters and DSC members who have won the prestigious Weatherby Award, as well as the DSC Outstanding Hunter Achievement Award. We also have women who may still be considering trying their hand in the hunting and shooting sports. I welcome all of you with equal enthusiasm, for you are a critical part of the future of DSC. I am personally inspired by so many women who pioneered our entry into what was once considered a male-dominated field. Women like Mary Cabela, Brenda Potterfield, Britt Longoria, Modesta Williams, Dorothy Harbour, and Diana Rupp, just to name a few. I admire women here today, like Mary Edith Stacy and Amber Knowlton, who have made hunting a family affair. And I see hope for the future in their daughters, Kaylee and Avery, both winners of the DSC Youth Hunter Award. Outdoor television and publications are other great examples of the increased influence that women are having in our industry. A particular point of pride for me can also be taken in the fact that women have long held leadership roles on both the DSC and DSC Foundation boards. Although I am sometimes confused as being the first female president of DSC, that honor actually dates back to 2006 to Barbara Franklin. I hope that I am living proof that the hunting lifestyle is an equal opportunity pastime, where gender is neither helpful nor a hindrance. I am a hunter, and yes, I am a woman. But mostly I want to excel in the role of a mentor to women of all ages who wish to enjoy the same passions and opportunities that our time-honored pastime has provided me in my own life. I want to thank each of you for supporting DSC by your attendance here today. Before me, I see a room full of past, present, and future leaders of this great organization and the industry, and it fills my heart with pride and hope for our future. Let us commit to introducing, encouraging, and mentoring new participants in our world and into DSC, the greatest international hunting and conservation advocate. I challenge each of you to join me in examining our roles as women hunters and how we will shape the future. Envision your role as a mother, grandmother, sister, aunt, and consider how you can influence someone else in this lifestyle. I implore you to engage at a deeper level, not just waiting at home or in camp. Experience what our outdoor world has to offer and make an impact. I personally cannot think of a single example of where both mom and dad hunt where the children do not follow in their footsteps. The two greatest gifts an adult can give a child are opportunity and time. DSC can help you provide the opportunity through our events and the convention just down the hall. We don't need your well wishes, but we do need your action. Look at the potential rewards versus what we have to lose. So much is at stake. Our values and core beliefs are under attack from all vantage points, and the opponents are incredibly well-funded and organized. We need you to join in our pursuits to help save what we hold so dear. Thank you for your support during my term as DSC president and for the honor of speaking to this distinguished group of women. Now, let's have some fun. Get your arms ready to get them in the air, and let's raise some money to support the cause we hold so dear to our hearts. Thank you, and God bless you.